It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we all still believe and know that Harry Kane is one of the best number 9s in world football, right? Is it? That's a gimme.
Yeah.
No one can really argue that.
No.
I know there are some people that phone up and go,
You'll get a load that ain't
But
haven't.
people-
See, look, one here already. Kane is overrated.
Right, but people that know football know that he's not overrated. Okay? He's an unbelievable goal scorer.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable for England as well. His
Yeah.
record speaks for itself. So we know he's brilliant.
Yeah.
But he hasn't won anything yet.
Okay, the winning thing is a team, so I get what you're saying. And it depends what you mean, you define big games, because if you look at, for instance, London derbies, he's got more goals than anyone in London derbies.
Well, hold on, just...
Well, London derbies, obviously Spurs, Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham. Spurs.
When you say he's got more goals than anyone, what do you mean?
In London derbies, so he's got...
Any player that's played in London, so you can put Thierry Henry in there.
Thierry Henry's number 2.
Okay, wow, that's an amazing fact.
Exactly.
What is his number in that?
I think it's 44.
Okay.
And I think...
So North London... Is that North London or London?
London derbies.
Right, okay. Right. Now, they're big games, right?
And
Arsenal Spurs are big games.
More than that, because this article was... Yeah, either way, he's number 1, right?
Right, okay. So hold on, they're big games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So London derbies are big games. They're not obviously the biggest, but they are big games. North London derbies, big games. And then I watched him put in, like, we all see, when he put in arguably one of the best performances I've ever seen from a centre-forward against Manchester City at the Etihad, where he scored 2 and set up the other one.
Big game.
Big game. Right. The argument will be, some people will go, right, League Cup final against Manchester City, I think it was, didn't do much. Champions League final against Liverpool, next to nothing. The final against Italy, although he got them on their way when he put it wide and someone crossed it in for Luke Shaw to score. In the final, didn't really show up. The Croatia game, probably should have passed it to Sterling, shot, didn't really get over the line. I mean, I still think he's unbelievable. There's an argument that you look at these individual games and you go, because on the flip side, there are other centre forwards out there that haven't got the numbers anywhere near the numbers that Harry Kane's got. But when you talk about big game players, you're talking about people like Drogba, centre forward. Like Kane has got more than double Premier League goals that Didier Drogba's got. But one thing you know about Didier Drogba, when it comes to any type of final, and that could be Champions League final, League Cup final, FA Cup final, you know full well I ain't got to worry about him. He's going to show up. Ultimately, he'll probably win. Even when we won at Spurs 2-1, Drogba scores the goal.
Why would Harry Kane not turn up for big games? Because everything you've said about Champions League final, League Cup final, Euro final, they're as big as they get.
Yeah.
Right? Not League Cup final, but Champions League final.
It's a final, still massive.
But he hasn't.
No.
Now, you can argue the World Cup semi-final, he was coming back from injury and a lot of people said he shouldn't have started, right? Champions League final.
Shouldn't have started.
Okay, Lucas Moura had scored the hat-trick, I think,
and then left on the bench, yeah.
So there are games that he has played, big finals, where he's not been fit.
Yeah.
But having said that, the argument is still backed up by the fact that he hasn't.
Yeah.
Why?
Again, I'll give you another example, right? Thierry Henry, for me, the greatest player to ever play in the Premier League for Arsenal. Nothing in finals. Nothing. Like, and I'm talking about
nothing in finals.
Nothing in finals. Every single time.
Do you know off the top of your head what finals he played in?
So he played in the Champions League final, Barcelona,
Arsenal,
missed a big chance.
Yeah. How big was the chance? Remind me.
I think he went around the defender and he hit it straight at the goalkeeper.
Okay.
FA Cup final when we beat Chelsea, nothing. Where Parler scored and Lundberg.
Yeah.
Beat Southampton the following year. Perez scores, nothing. So
why though?
I don't know. But in the semi-final against Real Madrid, that's probably the best performance I've ever seen from a centre forward at the Bernabeu. But in finals for Arsenal, didn't do it.
We'll talk about Harry Kane. 03717223344. His Bayern Munich team lost 1-0 away at Lazio. It was last night in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie. He spoke to TNT Sports after the match about what's going wrong at his club at the moment.
The main thing for me and the team is that we have to, focus on the next challenge. We're in a difficult spell. There's no hiding that, but we have to fight and we have to turn it around.
Yeah, and confidence is a difficult thing, isn't it? Easily lost, not so easily got back.
No, for sure, but like I touched on there, the good thing is that we have big games, we have big things to fight for still, so we're not out of it, we'll never give up, and we just need to turn it around. One game or one spark can change a lot in football, and we need to try and find that, so we'll push together, we'll push each other in training and in the game on the weekend and try and find it.
Now, some people are torn. I was just looking there at Mbappe, mate, talk about big finals, World Cup final, it doesn't come much bigger than that, and he's won one and scored in the final, in the one that he won, and also scored a hat-trick in the one that he lost. So, and don't get much bigger than that.
Bayern Munich have won the last 11 Bundesliga titles, right? It's still a long way to go. They're 5 points behind Bayer Leverkusen.
Which ain't a lot of points, by the way. 5 points.
It's not a lot. I mean, it can go in 2 weeks, right? If he wins the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
That's the end of that discussion forever,
Of course
right?
it is, yeah.
Okay, at this current moment, because I think they've got less chance of winning the Champions League than they have the Bundesliga, and they're still favourites in my mind to win the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
right? At this current moment, would you say he's made the right decision in leaving?
Yeah, because it's still Bayern Munich, and again, you look at the way Spurs play at the minute, and it is really nice to watch. There's no guarantees that he fits that system that Ange Postecoglou has. Now, I think long term you'll miss Harry Kane. That's for a fact because the amount of goals he scores.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think to go to Bayern Munich, which is one of the biggest clubs in the world, like how can you poo-poo that? Like I know you might go the Bundesliga's not great, but it's Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs on the planet, and he's got opportunities to win trophies there. I don't think they'll win the Champions League. Not when you've got City in that knocking about.
No, I agree.
I just think you can't say it was the wrong move.
1-0 down against Lazio, home tie to come. They're still favourites, right?
Yeah, but they were awful last night.
They were awful last
Terrible.
night. Nick's an Arsenal fan. Let's speak to Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hi, how you doing, boys? You right?
Yeah,
We're
we're
great.
good,
How
man.
are you today?
Yeah, good, very good, thank you. It's interesting you brought this up as a topic because I called this very show when he was first linked to Bayern Munich, and I said this exact same thing, exactly what Bentley just said. Drogba is a big game player, Harry Kane isn't, and all this, and the reason he's going to. My point was at the time, the reason he's going to Bayern Munich is to win, trophies, but why can't he win them where he was? And it's because he's not dragging his teams through in the big games. And I was kind of shot down because obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but at the same time, I'm also an England fan. So I have got a vested interest. And I do, by the way, think he's an amazing player. I do, even as an Arsenal fan. But he just doesn't do it in the big games. I've got a theory, and I think obviously the big games always come towards the end of the season, and he just always looks burnt out. I don't know what, sometimes, like you said, he's injured in some games, but he just always looks burnt out. But why, he scored loads of goals in international, but most international teams that England play against are like championship rated. And when it comes to like the World Cup, for example, yeah, he got the golden boot, but 3 goals against Panama. The last goal he scored was in round 16. Doesn't score in 13 semis. I think he's 13 semis and finals. He's only scored 3 goals. It's just not good enough.
It's a very difficult argument to have against all the facts you've just made, but after all that he said, Nick, I still come back with you, but he's probably the best number 9 on the planet at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. Weirdly, he is. I agree. But is it a mental thing? Is it a mental block? Because there's some players who probably you could say weren't as good, but they always scored in the big games and dragged players through.
But do you not think? And I think that's the classic argument when you talk about Drogba, is that a lot of people will look at his numbers and go, well, how is this guy one of the best centre forwards in this country? He's only got 100, sounds bonkers, 104 Premier League goals I think he's got, and Kane's got double. But when you look at the biggest of biggest moments, and you can go back to that 2012 Champions League final where Chelsea looked like, I think it was injury time, game over, header, bang!
And scored the winning penalty.
Yeah, you just know that at some point he's gonna, and even semi-finals. And as I said there, when I was at Tottenham and we beat Chelsea in the final 2-1, people forget he scored the free kick, Drogba. People forget about that. Another final goal.
An Arsenal legend, your boyfriend Thierry Henry, spoke exclusively to talkSPORT the weekend. Said he wants to see Harry Kane win trophies. Does he though?
It will be great for the big man to somehow grab a trophy. We all know that's what he's been chasing for a long time. So obviously, if he can do it with Bayern Munich, it'll be great for him. Having said that, Leverkusen looks like they're not slowing down. So hopefully he can do that, because like I said, we always talk about Harry Kane and how great he is, and which he is great. It'll be a shame if he doesn't, leave the game with something under his belt other than goals.
The big man.
Yeah, Thierry can call me with that.
Thierry,
Legend.
honestly,
Legend.
the big man.
It will be great for the big man to.
Great for the big man. Who talks like that? Cundy's the only person who talks like that. The boy.
Get him on the show.
Big Thierry.
Let's get Thierry
He
on.
won't come on the show, mate.
Why would he not?
But you get,
Probably because he hates you.
he doesn't hate me. I don't even know. I'm not met the
You try
fella.
to say people are better than him and that.
There was a story, I don't know if you remember this story. Remember when he was on Big Bucks at Sky? This is a story, obviously it's not true, but the story was that he wanted his coat hung up on a £500 coat hanger. Did you read that story?
Yeah, I don't believe that. That's not the Thierry that I know.
What's it made out of that? I mean, it's got to be gold, isn't it?
I
Platinum.
was him kicking about at PLP.
Yeah? Why don't you speak to him then?
Oh, mate.
All right, Thierry, I bet you like that. Oh, Thierry, I love you.
Correct.
do your knees wobble when you see him?
No. But it's just like...
Do they wobble?
No, they don't wobble. Sometimes...
Who would you rather go on holiday with, him or Righty?
Righty.
Is Righty above him?
Righty was my hero. He's the reason why I support Arsenal.
Right.
But
So you
Thierry,
rather-
but Thierry, for me, is the best player. The best player.
If you could have someone in here for an hour talking about their career,
Oh, it's tough. It's tough one.
Who are you going for?
Who are you going for? Cantona or Bobby or Brian Robson?
Cantona.
Yeah, Brian Robson's your hero.
I met Robbo loads of times. And it also, he blue ticked me and didn't reply, so he can
blanked you,
stick it. He can't stick it, I
I
love.
want Wrighty in that chair.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Poo-poo Thierry.
No, I'm not poo-pooing him.
You have him. You slagged him off. You got no chance of getting him in there. Slag him off. Let's go back to the phone line 03717223344. We're talking all things Harry Kane. Is he a big game player? Look, I can't go straight to another Arsenal fan. That's unfair. Let's go to Kelvin, Spurs fan. Hi, Kelvin.
Hi, guys. Fantastic show as ever.
Thank you, man. Is your radio on? Because we had a little bit of feedback. Is it on?
Is it on? No, my radio's not on, but my phone comes through the radio.
All right, okay.
Just three quick things. No Tandan. Honestly, how green is he? He's so jealous.
He's a Brentford fan.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only reason he doesn't like Harry Kane is because he knows we'll get Ivan Toney to replace him.
Do you know what, Kelvin? You might be the first person to call out No Tandan on our show. That. Well done.
Not a problem. Also, as well, Harry Kane will win a trophy this calendar year because I genuinely believe England will win the Euros. So he will finish his career with silverware.
Okay.
And as for the big game player, I mean, I've personally seen him score at least 2 perfect hat tricks. I've seen him get us
against who?
If I remember rightly, one was against Manchester City very early on, and I can't remember who the second was against.
All right.
And also as well, single-handedly, he has got Tottenham out of trouble so many times. He is a big game player, and as Bentley pointed out earlier, hats off to you, Bentley, for admitting it. He has scored more London derby goals than Thierry Henry. If that's not a big game player, then No Tandan needs to start looking at football again.
Oh, he's gone off to No Tandan again.
I like that.
Good call, Kelvin.
Take that, Dan.
Start calling members of the production team out. Good work. Nicholas is next up. Hello, Nicholas.
Hi, Andy.
How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Nice segue there.
Nice what, sorry?
Segue from talking about Henry and Wright, my 2 heroes.
Who's your favourite? If you could go on holiday with one, who would it be?
Righty all day long.
Why is that?
Just like Benty is my hero.
Right. If you could have one lead in the line for Arsenal tomorrow.
Thierry Henry.
Well, let Kelvin answer. Nicholas answer that. Go on, Nicholas.
I'll be honest, I'll put Righty ahead of him as a finisher.
What do you think of that, Benny?
He'll finish right. He's one of the best ever.
Goals per game.
But Thierry is just like.
Wait.
No, there's no wrong answer in this conversation.
Righty. So go on, Nicholas. I agree with you. I love Righty. Go on, Nick. Your views on Harry?
Surprisingly, I'm not I used to be a Harry Kane hater, but since he's gone to Bayern Munich, I've felt a bit sorry for him, to be absolutely honest. I do think he will win silverware for Bayern, probably next season. I don't see it happening this season because Alonso and Leverkusen are just too much of a run at the moment, and we're entering the latter stages. So I don't think he'll win a club medal this year, but he will eventually undoubtedly win a cup or probably a league at Bayern Munich. And when he comes back to Arsenal, he'll probably win the league with us as well.
When who comes back to you, Harry?
Yeah, why not?
You don't want him leading your line.
He wants to win.
You don't.
Why not? It would be. We had Sol Campbell and he done the double, so we could do it with Harry.
Yeah, thanks for your call. There's no way Harry Kane would make that joke. Not in a billion years.
No, I can see that.
Not in a million years. Let's speak to Dan. He's up next. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Andy. How's it going?
I'm great. I'm very well, thanks. How are you today?
Great show.
Thanks, man. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's interesting that the English media are talking about Harry Kane as an individual rather than looking at the Bayern team as a whole. Over in Germany, I'm an FC Bayern fan as well as Stoke City. And the biggest issues for us isn't so much Harry Kane, it's the way it's set up by Tuchel. With the same issues as Nagelsmann, and that's not playing into Harry Kane's game itself. Only a few weeks ago, we were praising Harry Kane because the goals he scored in the Bundesliga. And so the issue is why are we talking about Harry Kane as a particular individual? I still believe we're only 5 points behind Leverkusen. It was an awful game against them last time. And actually, we've lost against big games away against the likes of Lazio and Madrid and everything else. And yet we've come back to the Allianz and performed. So we should be asking the question perhaps after the next game if we get knocked out. But I don't think we will. I think we'll win it.
Dan, sorry. Really good call, and I understand what you're saying, but I'm really surprised or baffled by the Bayern-Stoke connection. Like, why are you Stoke and Bayern?
I've always been a Bayern fan since I was born, because I'm born German. And my first English game was against Preston North End in '91. My stepfather took me to my first English game, and it just so happened to be Stoke. And ever since then, I've been a glutton for punishment and support them ever since.
If they were to meet in the Champions League final, who do you want to win it?
Oh, God, that's a good question. It depends. If I went with my stepfather, it would be Stoke. If I went with my family, they'll kill me, but it'll probably be Bayern.
They're all there.
Yeah.
Everyone's there. It's a big day out for the Dan family.
Oh, I can't answer that question. I'm sorry.
Which one? You got to? Which one?
Years.
Come on.
Well, Bayern have won it lots of times, so if it's Stoke be a one-off, it'll be Stoke City.
So you want Stoke to beat Bayern Munich?
Because they will never do it again.
Have a lovely afternoon. Thanks, Dan.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Now, Dan sounded lovely, right? But I have a real problem with people that emphasise certain words when they speak perfect English, right? He said Thomas Tuchel.
What's wrong with that?
Thomas Tuchel. Every other word was English spoken. Apart. Do you know what I mean? There was another one where like Lazio, I think it meant Lazio or something. Do you know what I mean?
I don't mind it.
Griezmann. Say their name.
No, I like Griezmann.
It's not his name, though.
Yeah.
It's not his name.
Milan.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.